Joining me to help unpack all of it is Clinton Desveaux, columnist, TV and radio contributor. Hi, Clinton. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here. Looking forward to chatting with you and hearing from your audience.
Okay, well, excellent. Well, we're not going to hear from them live, but we're going to hear from me, that's for sure. Now, for the concerns on the East Coast, I think we should start by saying, what is the sentiment in terms of this sudden election call? I mean, it was a little sudden and we kind of knew it was coming for a few weeks, but I know that there were many folks across Canada grumbling as to why are we going to an election now? Is this really the right time? We're in a potential fourth wave. Is there a lockdown on the horizon? And now an election. Is this sentiment also being expressed out on the East?
Well, there is a little bit of what I like to call election fatigue, and that's because, as you pointed out in your introduction, much of Atlantic Canada has gone through provincial elections, with the exception of Prince Edward Island, over the last, let's say, 12 months. So there's a little bit of that election fatigue. And the good news is, though, is that Atlantic Canadians are the types of folks that really do pay attention to politics, and it's something that it goes back in family generations. You know, you have Team Red, Team Blue, and that tends to go back decades and decades. And so it becomes passionate discussion at the dinner table.
Oh, yes, I can imagine. And you know, what we saw in the Conservative leadership last year, for example, Peter MacKay, who hails from Nova Scotia, you know, he did very well out east. That was a huge rallying call. Obviously, Aaron O'Toole won that leadership. He's from Ontario. So it'd be interesting to see how different parties are faring in different parts of Atlantic Canada. When we talk about election fatigue, I can understand that. Do you think, in general, and we can go issue by issue, but do you think in general this election, at least for the East Coast Canadians, do you think it will favor Trudeau? Do you think he'll be able to, the Atlantic Canada will help him make a majority?
Yeah, so I do think that Atlantic Canada is going to be solidly red, with the exception of a few pockets, specifically in New Brunswick. So in areas that are kind of in and around what I like to call the greater Fredericton area, like Woodstock, New Brunswick, St. John, those kinds of areas, the Conservatives have really good shots at winning, you know, 3 or 4 seats or maintaining the seats
them,
they
yeah,
currently have.
Right.
As far as Nova Scotia goes, I do think that this is a region that will primarily probably vote Liberal if current trends continue. Newfoundland, much the same way. I think Prince Edward Island could be in play, and I think there's only a handful of seats in Prince Edward Island, but there's an opportunity for the Conservatives to pick up 1, maybe 2 of the 4 seats there. And as far as your question goes, majority or minority governments, the thing that is often forgotten in other parts of Canada is that there are 32 ridings in Atlantic Canada. And so if you can sweep all 32, or if you can win a large majority of the 32, that can help whichever party close the deal at forming a majority government across Canada.